There is nothing wrong with your radio.
Do not attempt to adjust the volume.
We are controlling the broadcast.
For the next hour we will control all that you hear.
You are about to experience the knowledge and insights of the Media Mothership.
Hey, you're listening to Edge Radio 99.3 FM. This is Media Mothership for another week on your streaming services and so forth. We're broadcasting out of Nipaluna, Hobart, Tasmania, the Edge Radio equipment here. And today will be your guide as we explore the media shaping our understanding of the world around us. I'm your host, as always, Dr. Craig, joined by my co-host. I was trying to think of an adjective. Lord Taylor. Hey, Lord Taylor.
The adjectiveless Lord Taylor. That's me.
Yeah, we're titled up. So yes, we're streaming, as always, on edgeradio.org.au, as well as on YouTube and Twitch. You can find us by just searching Media Mothership. We're also on the DAB.
Yep.
Digital audio.
Yep. Zone 1.
Broadcast.
Whatever we are.
And your FM system on 99.3 FM if you're within a, 10-meter radius. No, a little bigger than that. So do message us on the chat via YouTube or Twitch, or SMS us on 048888 11707. Today's topic, we're going to get around to the concept referred to as the Mandela effect.
Oh, fantastic.
Named after Nelson Mandela. But before we do that, I do have a bunch of exciting breaking news stories to get to.
Cool.
So my first story is from Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3. The third Baldur's Gate movie, which I know you've been playing, right, Lord Taylor?
Yeah, I have. Haven't played it for a while, actually, and I've never finished the game.
Well, this might inspire you.
Yeah.
This is on How to Geek, and it's an article that explains, title is Want to Play Baldur's Gate 3 with Attenborough? AI voice mod makes this possible.
Attenborough.
Attenborough?
Like capybara.
That's right. The borough of Atten. So David Attenborough, the well-known documentarist, nature documentarist, someone has inevitably put a mod into the game engine of Baldur's Gate 3 that revoices the narration as David Attenborough. So it's quite clever, and I did find a little audio sample that we'll listen to.
Okay.
Sorry, we'll just skip this to the bit when that actually happens. Because what I found really fascinating about it is that it's had to be quite clever in leaving the other dialogue in the original voice actors. So the characters are all still voiced in their voices. But then just when the narrator kicks in to explain what's happening, you get this wonderful documentary you're in vibe.
That's not very clever, though, is it? Because if you think about how voice lines are within the game...
They're all discrete little files?
They're all discrete little files of, usually within a character's own folder.
So it would just, delete these files and replace them with this. Yeah. Well, let's hear how it all comes together.
Okay.
Immediately, your mind is swept into a greater vortex, a psionic storm with Winthara at its center.
Cannot hide, submit, embrace.
Her torturers are not dominating her. They are destroying her mental defenses and exposing her to something else. The absolute.
Well, have you got to that scene yet?
Yes.
So, what do you think? The David Attenborough voice, does it transport you as if you're in a documentary?
I mean, it's pretty good, but at the same time, it doesn't sound enough like him.
Yeah, and it does sound a very AI, as opposed to my literal human voice then, which struggled to make a sentence, which would be at least human. Whereas, the perils of the AI voice. Well, look, I mean, as a proof of concept, it's really interesting. Of course, it does, again, set up that perilous question of ownership. Obviously, David Attenborough probably didn't give his permission for this modification to be done.
Yeah.
Look, while it's, I guess it's a free little mod, as mods often are, that you can play in the game that will, I guess the appeal is that, it's a fantasy game, Baldur's Gate, set in Dungeons & Dragons world. So it is kind of fun having a well-known documentary voice like David Attenborough suddenly drop into the game, and it immediately puts you into that position of, you're getting an explanation of something, the courtship methods, the life cycle of humanity. So it does give it that idea of gravitas. It does draw upon. David Attenborough, I don't think, has ever done a voiceover for a video game, I think.
Oh.
Is there a message?
Yeah, I've got a I've got a phone call. That's
Is
weird.
it David Attenborough?
It might be. You never
Saying,
know.
What the heck are you doing?
I'm just going to look that up, make sure it's not important.
Oh, well, here we go. Live privacy analysis here.
Yeah.
They're probably reaching out to us at the studio.
Probably.
Offering us a deal to voice over Baldur's Gate 4 when that comes. All right, next article, while you're multitasking, is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, that's who it is.
Deadpool?
No, wine. Wine people. Trying to sell me wine. Boxes of wine.
Oh, does this happen?
Yeah.
Here you go. You're hearing it here. The scams coming thick and fast into the media mothership studios because, we are pretty much ground zero. I don't know what for, but zero's there.
I'm just going to block that number, sorry.
There's a little interesting article here. Deadpool and Wolverine, current movie that's getting kind of rave excitement. I'd say, is it rave excitement? Anyway.
I've never seen the first one.
Okay.
Is there a second one? I've never seen the second one.
There's two Deadpool movies, right? So this would be the third one. And both those have been met very positively by audiences and critics. This one's the bringing in Hugh Jackman to return to his role as Wolverine, of course. It's just this little whimsical clip that was reported on in Gizmondo, which is the second time I've found an article being reported on for the silence your phone message you receive before you watch the movie. Right, so if you're in the cinema, there'll be a kind of ad.
That was a very pointed reminder to me. Wasn't
This is right. This is why we're doing this article. This article comes on saying, please silence your phone. You're in the cinema. No one wants to hear your...
You're in the radio station.
Exactly.
You're
So
on air.
in a way, you've demonstrated the urgent need for this, the fact that people need to be reminded still to turn their mobile phones off. So this is kind of fun because it's the PSA, the service announcement that plays at the front before you watch the movie. So in this scene, Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman, and Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, walking down this kind of corridor, and this is what happens.
So I heard Secret Wars is finally going to introduce... You get reception down here?
I don't have a phone.
It's coming from out there.
Hey, Bub. You're in a movie theater, not the cough room in your mom's nursing home. So turn your phone to silent or I'll shove it so far up your you'll have to answer it through your
No, easy now. Easy now. So much testosterone. It's... God, when you yell like that, it makes my vibrate. At least I think it's my... Listen, just turn your phones off. Or put them on silent, whatever you prefer. I'm gonna take his neck veins for a walk now. Enjoy the film. Nice fourth wall break back there. I didn't think you had it in you.
Shut your mouth.
No. They do not like that word in America or Canada.
I mean, it's clever to tell a message which everyone's kind of exhausted by, and there's probably a lot of people just tune out when that message comes on in the cinema. So this is a kind of clever way of getting people to actually go, okay, yeah, I'm paying attention, I can hear this, and I will turn my phone off.
I will turn my phone off as long as
It's very passive aggressive of me.
as long as they remove the ME Bank ads and the Amy ads
What are you
from the cinema.
Do you you don't turn your phone off typically at the as a political statement? Like, you know, these ads are intruding upon my sense of movie watching.
They're intruding upon my intelligence, intruding upon my way of life.
Yeah, but don't you think there's a kind of collective morality there, that you're also annoying other people around you?
Yeah,
for
but
whom...
come on, I'm a millennial. I'm very self-centered.
You're not helping anyone out here. All right, well, talking of not helping anyone and the annoyance of sounds, this is a fun little article out of Dex Ertl.
That's fun.
Titled, YouTuber Furious After Video Gets Copy Strike for Washing Machine Sound. This is a hilarious article where a YouTuber was doing a stream, and after it was published, he found that video got a copyright strike for including the jingle from a Samsung washing machine. Oh, right. I'm not putting your mic on until you stop. Your mic.
Yeah, finished.
Causing him to call out the platform, the YouTube, as fraudulent content ID claims, right? Because clearly this Samsung, your spin cycle's finished, is not a copyright music piece that can somehow demonetize a YouTube piece, but nevertheless, because someone has been able to upload, what it turned out was that this notorious guy had been able to upload the sound. So the article goes on to talk about how it goes back to 2024, May 27th, Norwegian YouTuber Albino was playing New Vegas, and equally got done by this music artist called Adwego. Right, so this is allegedly, this YouTube channel called Adwego had recorded the sound of the Samsung machine and uploaded it as his creative content and connected it to demonetization thing. So now whenever that sound is heard, it would trigger a copyright claim going back to this guy's he just recorded it from the sound of it. So he doesn't own the music. He doesn't own Samsung, of course, but nevertheless he's been able to draw money out of being the one that uploaded this sound effect. Of course, the sound itself is a jingle from the song Die Forer. Die Forer, from Austrian composer Franz Schubert. So we'll play it. Schubert.
Schubert.
Die Forel from Franz Schubert. Let's listen to it now. So we'll demonetize my clip now.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the Samsung washing machine just finishing its spin cycle. Whatever. So as the guy was finishing his live stream, that triggered in the room next to him, and YouTube bots pinged him for being in breach of copyright, demonetized his clip. Monetization then went to the guy that had improperly loaded up that recording. And again, it goes to the fact that the monetization thing is just broken in YouTube.
Also, when it comes to washing machine jingles, that went on for far too long and was too invasive.
Really did. So there's other articles. Ars Technica also picked it up, pointing out how washing machine chime scandal shows how absurd YouTube copyright abuse can get. So these are people that have just, uploaded content they don't own, claimed it's theirs, and then when in the background one of these machines goes off and makes that jingle, it then means that the vlogger's YouTube is demonetized. The monetization stream then goes to that incorrect channel. So let's see what happens to our channel now. the media mothership one.
Oh, it's going to go down, definitely.
But I want to join that bandwagon and rage against the machine, saying, yes, I too have been abused. Next article from Gizmondo. Nice little article, kind of transmedia, right? Transmedia storytelling, how a prop can be a storytelling device between movies. So Viggo Mortensen snuck his Lord of the Rings sword into his new movie. The History of Violence actor put Aragorn's sword Anduril into the Western movie he's currently making called The Dead Don't Hurt. So Viggo Mortensen, of course, was the famous character of Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. And there's a fantastic sword that he wields. Turns out that he was able to keep that prop after the movie. There he is filming now a Western, so not a medieval fantasy at all, but there's a dream sequence involving a knight, and he has to ride a horse and so forth, and he thought, I'm not really a fan of this sword that I've been given from the prop department. Hold on, I've got the perfect sword. He did decide to do the right thing. He called Peter Jackson first and said, Peter, do you mind if I use this sword in this Western I'm doing? And Peter Jackson's question was, is it important to the plot? Does it have much significance? And Viggo said, no, not really. It doesn't really have any bearing on the film. It's just a dream sequence. And Peter said, look, that'll be fine. Probably then saying, look, if it's not a central part of the film, then you're not exploiting, the creative talent from Lord of the Rings. It's just a spin-off. And Viggo, interestingly, in the article was saying he went to ask for permission because he knew some fan out there would recognize it. Yeah. Even though it's not at all recognizable, he was saying at first, right? It's in the hilt and so forth. So Peter Jackson said, no, call the studio just to double check. So the studio in this case was also happy to collaborate.
That's very surprising. Very surprising.
So now, in the film The Dead Don't Hurt, will be the sword from Lord of the Rings from the character of Aragorn. And maybe there's some fan theory that'll link those together now as a central universe. Because there are those various kind of films which fans have then theorized are all related. Like there's a connection between X-Files and I think L.A. Law, because one side character actor, was appearing on all these different dramas. The Tarantino universe is meant to be all connected because various props appear in all the movies, from Inglourious Bastards to Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, a packet of cigarettes, for instance. So, yeah, why not swords?
Exactly.
Why not swords? All right. Well, that's the main news bits. Oh. So close. So close. Had those first couple of beats. Actually, I want to just jump ahead a little bit because one of the things I've been collecting, or I came across this really fun website called The 50 Hilarious Moments from Live TV. And the reason why I think I empathized so much with it was that we do various eras ourselves on this show. So I just want to play 2 or 3. There's 50 of them. Okay. I just want to play 2 or 3 because normally I feel that I'm creating the show and there'll be mistakes, poor timing, audio not working, audio working when it's not meant to.
Phones going off.
And normally I'm on the receiving end of that in terms of the comedy of it is that, that German term, the what is it? The Schadenfreude. Yeah, when you're taking amusement at someone else's suffering. Right? So I was going through this article on Gizmondo, 50 Hilarious Moments from Live TV, which was...
Why do you put the N in there?
Which one?
Gizmondo.
Oh, Gizmodo.
Yeah.
Ah. Well, I obviously am doing the Mandela effect. I always thought, so the Mandela effect, just jumping ahead for a spoiler, is where you're convinced something's real and it's not, right? So you'll get around to some examples of it. But in this case, I actually always thought it was Gizmondo. It's Gizmodo. All right, so there's my own Mandela effect where I was convinced it's something, but it's not. So Gizmodo basically curated this list from Twitter, which was a question that was posed about what are the funniest things you've seen on TV. And they're all journalists. And what I love about the clips that we'll just have a quick listen to, just as a bit of a palate cleanser, because I feel like I've made enough mistakes now. I need to laugh at someone else's misfortune. Is this idea of, laughing at people's mistakes and embarrassments.
So is this like mainly American-based stuff? Or
there's a few Australian.
Carl Stefanovic?
There's a Carl Stefanovic, midway through, which is fantastic. It's pretty global. And it is so fascinating to reflect on why they're so funny. Why it's so funny looking at the blunders of others.
Yeah.
So the first one is just this, like when you're reading from a script and the caption for it on Twitter, is anchor tip : you should pause before reading the top story. All right. So this is from an anchor on a TV news broadcast. Reading out the breaking story or the top of the news story for the Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida. Dana is off tonight. He was murdered and then set on fire while celebrating his birthday.
Just the delivery is spot on.
Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida. Dana is off tonight. He was murdered and then set on fire while celebrating his birthday.
It's the lack of any pause.
Yeah.
Even just a 2-second pause. As we know on radio, dead air is death, right? Silence is death. So I sympathize with wanting to make sure you're not doing silence, but in that case, running straight into, saying one person won't be there. This one is something that I fear I lead you into quite a lot, where the co-host is not up to speed on what the stories are that are covered and chimes in with a point which, if they'd known what the story was, they would never, ever have made. So this is from Island AM. It's a breakfast morning news show.
And you're very welcome back. Now, author Seamus O'Reilly was just 5 years old when he and his 10 siblings...
10 siblings?
...sadly lost their mum.
You can't...
He just goes, oof, at the end.
And you're very welcome back. Now, author Seamus O'Reilly was just 5 years old when he and his 10 siblings...
10 siblings?
...sadly lost their mum.
She doesn't help at all his hole that he's just done.
Yeah.
Right? She just commits to the script. He's just added in 10 siblings, thinking there's some kind of amusing little piece about large families, but instead it's the loss of their mum. So this is the... you still haven't at all committed to the phone off? At least that was just a bing.
That was just a bing.
That was just a bing. Here we go. This one I find truly... of the 50, this is the one that I actually will come back to and potentially put as my phone ringtone.
Okay.
So this is during COVID, and this is Alabama.
Alabama. Alabama
Governor Kay Ivey. So the guy that posted this to Twitter said, "You don't know politics if you don't know this iconic speech by Alabama Governor Kay Ivey." So you've got to understand he's there at a press release, he's announcing some policy during COVID. Yep. So he's surrounded by journalists. He's there at the podium delivering this message, and he's a kind of one of those typical older statesman type figures.
They are. We're getting a slight increase in the number of doses that we'll be getting to the state.
It's one of those ones where the more you listen to it,
we're getting a slight increase in the number of doses that we'll be getting to the state.
It's like it shouldn't, like it's so lowbrow. Right?
It's really lowbrow.
We're getting a slight increase in the number of doses that we'll be getting to the state.
It's just so lowbrow.
Why are you making me laugh at that?
It's from the depths of the digestive tracts. I mean, you can almost smell it. It's.
They are. We're getting a slight increase in the number of doses that we'll be getting to the state.
It does make me feel a lot better doing this show. You know,
you've never done that. You've not done that yet. No,
I've not yet done that. So yeah. I mean, look, I've found that immensely amusing. If you are having a rough day, it's worth tracking down on Gizmodo, the 50 hilarious moments from live TV. There's tons of others. We'll play some other highlights in future episodes as I need to relieve my own sense of embarrassment and mistaken screw up. All right, so next up on the points of discussion. Sorry, just getting around to... Right. So, Mandela effect. How masses of people can have the same false memory. I want to introduce this just with a short clip that explains it. Hold on. From the... Oh, you want to get rid of the trending videos. So here we go.
The Mandela effect refers to a phenomenon in which a large mass of people believe an event occurred when it in fact did not. The term Mandela effect was first coined in 2009 by Fiona Broome. Broome was at a conference talking with others about how she remembered the tragedy of former South African President Nelson Mandela's death in a South African prison in the late 1980s. However, Nelson Mandela did not die in the 1980s in a prison. He passed away in 2013. Broome learned she was not alone. Other people remembered seeing news coverage of his death, as well as a speech by his widow. So why does this happen? One theory suggests the possibility that alternate realities exist and are mixing with our own timeline.
It gets so weird, right? It's
just the first thing is there's multiple realities and we're just bleeding through into them.
Straight into conspiracy theory. That is odd that it commits to the strangest of all the possible ones. But what I want to do is play a few clips. Sorry, I just realized I haven't queued up the one that I need to.
Oh, that's good.
There we go. A few clips, because one of the ones which many people might recognize, well, it was the one that I came across recently from Thought Catalog, which was the movie Seven.
Yep.
Headline is 7 fans have found a crazy Mandela effect. So again, as was just explaining that clip, Mandela's effect is when you believe absolutely for certain something is true, but it turns out it's not. So it's based on the idea that many people believe in 1980-something, Nelson Mandela actually died in jail, whereas that was not the case. He died later in, 2013 or something. So 7 fans have found a crazy Mandela effect. Is your memory wrong about this iconic scene? So we'll set it up by playing the iconic scene. I'll just try to find the shortest. Here we go.
Okay.
Put the gun down.
I saw you with the box.
Oh, language warning.
Because I envy your normal life. Put the gun down, David. It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
Give me the
What's
gun.
in the fucking box?
Give me the gun.
Yeah, so that's that end scene. Have you seen 7?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Right. Well, see, it's a detective procedural film and a highly taught film, really worth watching. Mm-hmm. It's got this really iconic scene at the end. So spoilers ahead. Sorry, Taylor.
Yes,
it is an old movie, though. So at the end of the movie, a box is delivered to this desert location in the middle of nowhere. And our killer's there. And the 2 police officers, one played by Bruce Willis and the other played by Morgan Freeman, get this delivery of a box. And as we could hear there, Brad Pitt character saying, you know, what's in the box? What's in the box? Morgan Freeman opens
What was the
box.
full quote?
What's in the box?
Yeah, okay, go on. Yeah.
And on Twitter, or this discussion space, there was this debate as to whether or not you saw what's in the box.
Okay.
Because many people were posting in saying, no, they saw what was in the box. They have a vivid memory at the end of the film of seeing the head that's we know we're told is in the box. But this big debate go on, and it turns out actually we never do see in the movie what's in the box. But it was a case of people absolutely convinced that no, there's definitely a version of the movie where you see the head that's in the box.
But there is no.
But no, the film version that is the one that's out there does not reveal.
No director's cut.
No director's cut. No nothing. The other one, again from cinema, this Mandela effect from The Silence of the Lambs will blow your mind.
Which I've never seen before as well. But,
oh my. Anyway, this scene from Silence of the Lambs is equally considered very confusing. Again, it's in the classic scene when basically Clarice meets Hannibal Lecter. So Silence of the Lambs, again, another detective film. Anthony Hopkins plays the detective, and this is the scene here that we'll play a little sequence of now.
Good morning.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling. May I speak with you?
You're one of Jack Crawford's, aren't you?
I am, yes.
May I see your credentials?
Certainly.
Closer, please. Closer. That expires.
So in that scene, where we first have Clarice Starling meeting Hannibal Lecter, and everyone is convinced that that scene begins with Hannibal Lecter saying, "Hello, Clarice."
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He says, "Hello." Or was it "Good morning"? Oh my God, I'm going through a Mandela effect. But it's not "Hello, Clarice."
Yeah.
But everyone is convinced. They say, no. He says, "Hello, Clarice." So people began trying to figure out where this idea of Hannibal Lecter says, "Hello, Clarice" came from. Some people have argued that it actually came from a trailer. Others have said it was Jim Carrey's performance a few years later in the film Cable Guy, where he performs the character of Hannibal Lecter in the scene, which we'll listen to now.
Sure. Check this out. Silence of the Lambs.
Hello, Clarice. It's good to see you again.
So many people think, these types of comedic performances kind of entrench this idea of "Hello, Clarice" being the line from the film. And again, causing all of this debate as to whether or not that really is the line or not. Equally, I guess, in cinema, the other big classic one is, does Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back saying, "Luke, I am your father"? Have you seen Empire Strikes Back?
Yes, of course I have.
Just in case. Is the line "Luke, I am your father" in the movie?
Probably, but it might be a big gap between Luke and I.
Let's listen. So this is an interview with James Earl Jones, who voiced.
Because he definitely says, "I am your father." I don't know if he says Luke.
See, that's right. This is the
I'll
confusion.
never join you. If you only knew the power of the dark side.
When I first saw the dialogue that said, "Luke, I am your father," I said to myself, he's lying. I wonder how they're going to play that lie out.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father. Say what?
No! Yeah, so it's no, I am your father. It's not Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
Although people are convinced that that's in the film. What I like, I guess, what I find most interesting about this theory and the debate around is this or is this not the line from the movie? Is this, because, I mean, other examples are people are convinced, for instance, that New Zealand's location is to the northeast rather than southeast of Australia, geographically. Pikachu's tail. There's a whole Mandela effect debate about whether or not Pikachu's really tasty. Pikachu's tail is black tipped or not. So is Pikachu's tail black tipped?
No.
There we go. Many people, though, argue that it definitely is black-tipped. And there are versions where there's a black tip on his tail. But I think the confusion is those ears. The ears are black-tipped.
The ears are black-tipped.
Yeah.
Especially Pichu as well. It's got the black-tipped on the ears too.
The original version of Mickey Mouse had him in suspenders. Which it's not the case. But that's a bit more obscure. But many people are convinced that Mickey
The
Mouse
black and white one, right?
Yeah, the black and white one has him in shorts, but with suspenders. But there are no suspenders. And then there's various, logos for companies. They Fruit Loops and and then movie titles like Play It Again, Sam. Not in the movie. Many people are convinced it's in the movie.
But it's in a lot of movies now because people will use that thing that people think are there and say Play It Again, Sam in heaps of other different movies.
This one I quite like. It's the Monopoly board game. And many people, does the Monopoly board game guy have a monocle or not? So many people say he doesn't have a monocle. And other people argue he does have a monocle. The images you see from him have no monocle, though. But some people say, no, there's definitely a monocle in one version. Others argue that it's probably confusion with another character in the US called Mr. Peanut, who does have a monocle. I don't think we got that brand here. But it is, again, the explanations just fascinate me for it. The idea that these are either, at the more extreme version, which the YouTube clip decided to start with, these are parallel worlds. This is convincing data that there are parallel worlds because enough people are convinced that there is a version of Monopoly which has a monocled millionaire character. That's the more extreme. The more common ones are this idea of, from psychology, like a false memory. This theory suggests that, a false memory is formed from external factors, such as with the case of Hello, Clarice, where you watch a movie where there's a joke about Silence of the Lambs and he doesn't do the right line, but he just does a line. And that false memory then gets connected to what really happened in Silence of the Lambs as dialogue, which is not the case. Misinformation effect occurs when information received from an event can alter one's memory of the event itself. It's a form of retroactive interference where newer information impacts on the accuracy of the older memories. So in cases like, I guess literally the Mandela effect, where later on you're given information about, no, he didn't die, and that then changes what your memory was of that death to begin with. Confabulated, so where your memory has been fabricated, distorted, or misinterpreted by memories about yourself, which you didn't consciously want to deceive yourself from, but you begin to think of this version of what happened that day, and the small stories you tell about what happened that day, you confabulate a kind of whole number of things which happened into one day, which was not on the one day. The ones which we're looking at here with the Mandela effect are often linked to this idea of a collective false memory, because it's something about the fact that you won't be alone in this theory. there's others around you that start chiming in on Twitter saying, no, you're definitely right. He says, Luke, I am your father. And there's definitely a version out there that somehow has been now erased, which has that as the dialogue. Or the other one, actually, that's more recent is the... there was an interesting interview with... on the... the Graham Norton show, talking about the Lord of the Rings films, and if it's run you fools or fly you fools. I'll just play this clip. It's quite interesting, again, because...
Don't miss an all-new episode of The Graham Norton Show.
Play it from...
Okay, because...
but they sometimes shout out and...
Because there is a superfan at the end of the couch who you do have an annoying question. Well, I don't know about annoying. Question. I don't know.
So this is it's a panel discussion. So Ian McClellan. McLaren.
Can you ruin that name that much? Just McKellen.
Ian McKellen is there being interviewed. He, of course, played Gandalf, and then there's a number of other actors.
So when we were on set with our movie, I was often getting into debates with Joel Fry, who's an actor who's in the movie, a brilliant actor, and I believe that the line from Lord of the Rings is "Fly, you fools," but he was just constantly telling me it was "Run, you fools," and I was like, "No, it's fly. It's definitely fly." But maybe you could clear it up for us.
Fly.
It is fly. You win.
But just for the nerds and hobbits among you, it is not "you shall not pass." Tolkien didn't write that. He wrote "you cannot pass," and I got it wrong. But I'm rather stuck with it now.
That's amazing.
So I find that interesting. That again, there's kind of two Mandela effects. Well, really one, which is he says, "Fly, you fools," and not "Run, you fools."
But that's not... I've never heard anyone who thinks that it's "Run, you fools."
Well, there are. It does turn out there's... I mean, again, it's because you're right. I mean, and for most people, exactly. "Fly, you fools" is the dialogue. But if you... I mean, look, we'll listen to the original. It's not that...
You shall not pass!
So that, of course...
Cannot pass.
is interesting now. Yeah, that it was Ian McClellan saying he made a mistake, right? It was scripted. I assume the script was the same as in the book. So Tolkien, right, you cannot pass. And he said... He did not say you cannot pass. He said you shall not pass. So many people now...
think that's going to be in the book.
That's in the book, but it's not. But in this case, both versions exist. However, there could be a debate in a quiz show, with people saying, well, are you talking about the movie or the film? Anyway, so here's the scene with the Fly, you fools. So, yeah, if you know it's "Fly, you fools" and you listen to it, you hear it, but it's not too clear. And, yeah, it's one of these cases of many people getting into these arguments saying, no, there's definitely a version that says "Run, you fools."
There isn't, but...
and, well, that's right, there isn't. But it is one of the frustrating things. What you could see yourself getting into then is this big debate. The person refuses, and there's others around them saying, no, I agree, it's "Run, you fools." And then they try to wrestle with why is their version not the same as yours. And then you can end up with discussions of parallel universes.
Exactly.
This is which variant are we in? What Earth number are we in? But it is, I mean, look, and there are moments like the Yancey and Clancy debate and the blue or gold dress, where there are experiences you can have which your reality is not shared by someone else. And that is factually proven that both realities exist at the same time. The Yancey thing is, if your hearing is bad or if you're older, you will hear Yancey And if
What
you're...
are you talking about? I don't know
You
what
don't
this
know?
is.
I'll play a clip of it.
Are you sure it's not Yanni?
Oh, yeah.
And
actually,
Laurel.
It's Yanni. That's it.
Yeah.
Yanni Laurel. Sorry, I have no idea. Yanni or Laurel. Right, so it's this one.
Laurel. 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 Laurel.
So
Laurel.
I'm hearing Laurel.
Laurel.
What are you hearing?
Laurel.
Both.
Really?
Laurel.
Yeah.
I'm definitely hearing Laurel. But again, the idea is that is which one you hear is also an index for the how healthy your hearing is.
Yeah.
I don't feel my hearing is very good. So in terms of actually explaining why you hear a difference, there's an explanation for it. But also you've got to then understand that even though you 100% only hear Laurel, someone out there will hear Yanni, which seems to be a completely different word. So, yes. So again, that's all that and more is the bizarre reality that that can face us out there. Sorry, your battery's running low on my damn laptop. Let's risk dangerously and see if we can complete this.
Okay. Yeah.
Broadcast.
Boom. Okay. Well, I've got something to talk about
All
anyway. That's sort of like news media worthy. The disappearance of the just going under the desk there. The disappearance of the British. What's it called? Dietitian.
Conservative Party.
Dietitian.
Oh
doctor
yeah.
in
That was
Greece.
this morning's breaking news.
Yeah, Dr. Michael Mosley. He's
Yes.
really good. Liked all of his shows.
Okay, I'm not familiar with him.
Very smart. Very into sort of making sure that everyone's healthy and looking into going deep into a lot of really interesting science.
And like
health-based
Harold
science and
Holt,
stuff.
he's disappeared without a trace.
Disappeared without a trace. Yeah.
Off some rocky outcrop as he went for a walk along the beach by himself. Weird. Yeah.
Very
So
weird.
again, we hope that he's found.
Yes. And a good reminder that if you are going anywhere alone, it's always a good idea to carry an EPIRB, even if you're not on the water.
Yes. What is an EPIRB?
EPIRB is like you have to do all these complicated things, press a button, and you usually do it when you're out on the sea, and it sends up all of this distress into the air, which is then picked up by the network of satellites
So it's
from
like a
all
digital
countries, and then they can pinpoint where you are, and someone will come and get you.
Right. Yes. Well, we could do a show about tracking.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening. So this has been Dr. Craig and Lord Taylor again for another episode of Media Mothership on Edge Radio. Show notes will be available on the episode description at YouTube or your podcast provider of choice. Next week, we're going to have some indie filmmakers in. Guys we've had in before, Daniel and Edward, and their main actor, talking about their new film project, which is coming to an end.
So I'm not going to be here next week.
We're going to have 3 people in. I think you can remote call in. You could be a call in by Skype.
And how would you play that out?
Well, what do you mean play it? Like I have it on the computer. I
Oh,
have
God.
Skype on the computer, and then I'll answer the call on the computer.
Wow, okay.
Very high tech. You can find out more about Media Mothership on Facebook and Instagram. Keep listening now to Edge Radio. Coming up next is K-Pop Unlimited with DJ TJ and DJ CJ.
Yep, the very best.
Very best. What is our hook for K-Pop Unlimited? What could hook listeners in to listen for the next hour?
Let's listen to some good music, people.
Wow. Is this like a southern K-pop?
No.
And we're going to listen to any more K-pop from the north?
No.
Propaganda.
I don't know of anything apart from the one that we played last week.
It's probably not pop. All right. Thanks for listening, and listen now to the Edge ID.
Edge Radio.